Hello, and good moments to you all. This is Dan Lutz, and we're here with another broadcast and continuing on with our Hammer series. Well, a little bit more. We're going to actually go through Serial Brain 2, the next part. It was just released last night for me, and we're going to go over it. But there's something that we have to cover before we go into that, and I just got a little delayed in sending my link over to Tank, so let me go ahead and make sure I get that done. Okay, so actually, let me do a little bit of a recap. Starting 2.5 years ago, an announcement about a program called the Hammer was made by military officials coming on to Dr. Dave Janda's Operation Freedom radio show. And the very next day, they launched an investigation against Trump for Russian collusion. The reason to launch this was really to cover up the Hammer. So that's what we've been talking about. We've had a lot of conversation about that. Serial Brain 2 is a very in-depth deciphering of puzzles laid out by the QAnon movement through Trump and Q-Posts. It's very deep analysis, and it's literally a puzzle that's constructed, but really gets down into the deep parts. So, but before we go on into a review of this latest one, basically it's about Serial Brain 2, Trump, Sally Yates, and the Enemy's Agenda, Part 2. So before we start that, I'm going to cover a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind while we go through this, because they I think are very important for us to have in perspective. So let me go ahead. I'm going to share my screen on a couple of things, and probably a lot of you already have an idea about some of this, but let's bring this up. So let me share my screen. Pyramids. Why do I want you to keep in mind pyramids? It's really about something that I studied for quite a while, going back at least 20 years ago. In regards to hyperdimensional physics and torsion field physics. And when you look at the pyramid, you have to understand that the shape is highly important. Positioning is highly important. The relationship between the different pyramids is highly important. The place in which it sits on the planet is highly important. and all because of energy. The shape will contain the energy and direct the energy. There's another picture of another pyramid. Of course, this is we're showing this beam of energy coming out the top. But let's look down to this one. So this is carrion photography looking at a pyramid. So that is energy. That is the type of energy we're talking. You'll see the double helix on the top spiral that's going out top of the pyramid. And you see there's actually two pyramids there, isn't there? Well, there's the lower part of the pyramid and the upper part of the pyramid. And that how pyramids, the shape of things, really matters. How things are positioned to generate energy and move energy in different ways. Another ways to look at that, just looking at this is just an energy transfers, talking about decaying plants to herbivores to predators and secondary predators. So we're talking about a chain of energy, right? And that can be represented in many different ways. And this is having to do with hyperdimensional physics, and really showing that existence of a three-sided pyramid is represented here, and shows how energy basically flows. We can go deep into this subject, but we're not going to get into that because I just wanted to give some basic information before we really get into what is in this Serial Brain 2. Because I just want you to keep in mind that the shape matters. And it matters in multiple levels of understanding. So let's go on with Serial Brain 2.
From now until November 3rd, 2020, we are going to keep on working, we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning. That's what we're doing. With every last ounce of heart and hope and sweat and soul, we are going to make our stand, and it's a tough stand, and it's a beautiful stand. We are going to stand for liberty. We are going to stand for justice. We are going to stand for faith, family, and freedom. We are going to stand for the sacred rights given to us by the hand of Almighty God.
So we'll just go ahead and fast forward this a bit.
The enemy's agenda. In part one, we set the foundation for what is about to be exposed. We covered David Lothman's cover-up for HRC, the Hammer, Uranium One, Eric Schmidt of Google, and all the other players who used everything in their power to try and take out our president. The witch was a Vatican asset, and the Rockefellers were C_A puppets. With all these connections, we've established that whatever is connected to the beast is related to the Vatican. Revelation 17, verses 3 and 4. Secret societies, 33,000 emails. Treasonous activities, private emails. And espionage in particular, the Hammer. When Trump got elected, the air was not as clean as he mentioned in his Hackberry speech. Remember Chucky? He said this.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
How about Senator Reid, who during the campaign said this?
It's obvious that he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's obvious he can't control his mind or his tongue.
And what I've suggested, if now, because he's the nominee for the party, and he's entitled to briefings from the CIA, for example, I said publicly, give him fake briefings. Pretend you're briefing. Don't tell him anything that you don't want to get out. And that's how I feel about it. I think that the man is a loose cannon. I think he's done so much to hurt our country with our international relations already.
As a Republican nominee, isn't he entitled to get those briefings?
Give him fake briefings.
What does that even mean?
It means he'll tell him stuff. He won't know the difference.
You're basically telling the intelligence community to lie to him.
No, I'm not going to lie to you, but I just want to tell you everything.
The maestro had to develop mechanism to detect the traitors. One of them is called the beast test and is revealed in a tweet where he rhetorically asks if Nadler was going to look into HRC's 33,000 deleted emails. The beast test, Nadler will fail, no doubt. Tweet from President Trump, will Jerry Nadler ever look into the fact that Crooked Hillary deleted and acid washed 33,000 emails after getting a most powerful demand notice for them from Congress? 7:16 p.m., 17 May 2019. Capital letters equal 111. Beast test equals 111. Image of Satan equals 111. Capital letters again equals 666 in English gematria. Q716, a link to exclusive Google CIA invest in future of web monitoring. He authorized that person, I won't say his name. He set it up and had it all, Eric Schmidt. Look at this, 666 is also Google Chrome. That's their symbol. OpenSecrets.org, there it is. Nadler, New York District 10, gave $26,008 to Alphabet Inc. Decoded message. Of course, Nadler will fail the beast test. One of the main reasons why he is chairman of the House Judiciary Committee is to protect all those who are involved in treasonous activities like HRC's private server, the Hammer, and North Korea. This is why Alphabet Google is his top contributor. Army Tank, Windows, Walls, John Kennedy. Does it make sense now? The maestro is referring to operating systems, firewalls, his comms secured by the military, and the enemy multiple attempts to infiltrate his cabinet and assassinate him politically and physically. Who solved the I-10? Tough one, isn't it? You need to solve I-10 6 times 20, 3, 16.
So all of this solving of this all leads back for proving that the information that's about to come out, that's being presented, is in fact on subject, and that's what these proofs are in particular about. Yeah, so they're very complicated to how you put these numbers together and follow. And you may think it's a stretch to go there, but if you follow along for a long time, you start to see the way that the things are put together and the theme behind how things are arranged, so that you can understand these when they're put together. So we could bypass this part, but we'll go ahead and finish it up. This one is very complicated.
If you notice, I equals 9. The sequence I-10 is 9-10, and therefore elliptically represents 11. 11 6 times is 66. 16 can be read 1-6, which, when juxtaposed to 66, gives you the number 666. How about the remaining 23? Yes, Q equals 17 equals 20 minus 3. The maestro is therefore saying 666 Q.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
If you notice, the maestro changed the order. Bill, Steve, John to Steve, John, Bill, sent BSJ equals 31. We can change the order and get 13, which is the chapter with the beast number 666 in Revelation. Let's go further. Bill plus Steve plus John equals 153. And the maestro said, and I can't or can play with these three, Steve, John, Bill, everybody sitting here, which is code for I can move these three numbers, 1, 5, 3, composing 153 if I don't break them down. By doing so, you transform 153 to 15 plus 3 equals 18, which gives you the verse of the beast number within Revelation 13. The message 666Q is confirmed. Now, what is the intrinsic meaning of I-10? Why does he?
So again, it's just from Trump's speech, he confirms that what he's about to talk about has to do with Revelations and the beast. And the references are coinciding, so the way they're laid out by Trump when he's speaking is literally focusing in on a secret message.
Mention of bridge and beauty. Since I equals 9, I-10 connects to 90 equals 9 times 10, which is the value for beast, mark, and composed. Bingo. The maestro wrote composed in quotes in his 6:55 May 19th tweet. Coincidence? This is where we need to look at. To make sure we access the core of the information, let's analyze all the surrounding tweets to gather the pieces of the puzzle. We get these 4 sets. In piece set 1, the first tweet from the president at 7:49 a.m. on 19 May 2019 equals 141, writing the beast. The second part of that tweet, same time frame, all capital letters equal 113, which is surgery 113, man and woman 113. The final part of that tweet, all capital letters, add up to 220. And that equals Barbie doll hermaphrodite. And then Q749, deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Q. And then we have a photo in Q3149. Look at those 3 faces. Do you notice anything strange about their faces? Comment. Deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. The picture in Q3149 confirms man, woman, and transgenderism. In piece set number 2, the first tweet from President Trump, 8:55 a.m., 19 May. The capital letters equal 97, Victoria equals 97. The highlighted word composed in that tweet equals 90, beast mark equals 90. If you notice the geometry architecture, 90, 180, 360. The second part of that tweet, no collusion, no obstruction, that equals 360 with the capital letters. Revelation of beast saves the world equals 360. I am the stone that the builder refused equals 360. Hello, Neo, who are you? I am the architect, 360. Circle represents holy perfection, 360. Q3255, FBI and DOJ to review the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It's an embarrassment to our nation. It shall be done. Q. And Q855, chemistry. What if the steel used for military-grade projects was made inferior by our enemies as a method to weaken? What if Hussein knew and authorized? And then you have Q2055 with a link to that picture right there. Architects, expertise are highlighted in that post. In PSET 3, the president tweeted, watched some of the fake news political shows this morning and continue to be amazed at how every question is asked in the most negative way. The mainstream media should be ashamed of itself. But the good news is that the USA is wise to your game of dishonesty and deception. The capital letters for this tweet equals 124, Baal worship equals 124. BUSA equals 43, GOAT equals 43. Q1350, if America falls, the world falls. Q2550, for God and country. Q150, distress call to others will do you, family, no good at this stage. PSET 4. False reporting yesterday, there are no plans to send migrants to northern or coastal border facilities, including Florida. The capital letters for this tweet, FTNCBF, continuing on, equals 154. The Antichrist equals 154. The Beast Messiah equals 154. Q315. What has been said about the U.S. military? Q114, Savior of mankind. The speech yesterday verified and unlocked so much. Yes, it allowed us to validate the beast and 666. The Great Awakening, deeper we go.
So a couple things I want to point out. When looking from a tweet around the speech that Trump gave, right? Looking at all the tweets, and you go ahead and decipher by way of the capital letters or things that were misspelled and changed, you get the post to go look at that QAnon had posts. So see the depths of this puzzle, considering that some of these Q posts were given a year ago. So giving information out back then that is only coming into play, or sometimes used multiple times, but coming into play at a time like this, when there's a specific message that is being said. And when they said that this information is not for everyone, only for those willing to hear it, right? So number one, the red pills that people have to take to get to the level of seeing where things are going and how deep that rabbit hole goes is a lot. You have to build up to it. And one of the reasons I started this off by saying, look at pyramids and how the energy flows through a pyramid is dependent upon the shape of that pyramid. How important the shape is. So the level to which we can go from there is what we'll talk about later, but let's continue.
Here are all the pieces in a synthetic image. Do your research and try to identify the hidden message. Here is the solution. The Cabal's transgender agenda, Baphomet cult. Q855, what if the steel used for military-grade projects was made inferior by our enemies as a method to weaken? What if Hussein knew and authorized? Victoria's secret lingerie. Queen Victoria's secret. Victoria's Secret transgenders. Now you can access the spiritual meaning of steel made inferior in Q855 and know how and why America's shape is under attack. Through surgery, hormones, and other means, the Cabal is composing shapes that can host the demons they need. Baphomet, the androgynous demon. The main component required to attract these demons with these shapes is the sexual transformation, whichever way it takes. The bridge. The enemy has done its research on our biology and knows it is the only way he will be able to import the Antichrist into a human form. Decoded message. Victoria's secret comes from the secret of English Queen Victoria, who was a man and decided one morning that he was a woman and unilaterally imposed it to his kingdom. The water in a glass borrows the shape and the color of the glass. If you alter the external form, you alter the way the internal form manifests. Therefore, if you alter the blueprint of the body, you shape the way the soul manifests. This is the principle behind the Cabal's transgender agenda and its byproducts, which is not only targeting a small group of individuals, but mankind in its entirety. In addition to its social engineering purpose, the transgender agenda uses the power of symbolism to activate a certain type of spiritual entities, demons, to help them build the world they envision. This leads to the Baphomet cult and corollaries. There's more.
before we go into more. Now you can see why I was bringing up pyramids in the shape of things and how energy is transferred and transformed by the shape of things. So when we're talking about the shape of a man or a woman, you know, if our container is changed, we change the energy. So from external means to come in and change the shape of things, you actually change what it, if you change what's that shape, the container, you can change what's inside. So anyway, this is the energy that is superficially seen, right, by when you're looking at someone. If you apparently see a woman, but it's a man, or if you see a man and it's actually physically a woman, the energy is going to be distorted. The communication of energy back and forth is not representing the true energy, right? So this is a distortion of reality, right? And changing reality into something and making it more pliable for more of these other entities to basically inhabit. So this is a very complicated red pill. So because it is so deep for people to have this understanding. Going to Zero Brain 2, getting to this next level of understanding of this aspect of shape and energy affecting things in the world around us. Because once we're going out and we're in the world around us and we're emanating a different energy, it's transforming reality. But what is the reality they're trying to present is hell. All right, we'll continue.
Let's listen to the speech writer Rib.
By the end of next year, America's LNG export capacity will more than double. Think of that. But what does it really mean? It means jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what it means. Jobs, jobs. And thanks to our historic tax cuts and reform, everybody here got a tax cut. Everybody. Big one. Sempra Energy is bringing billions of dollars back home to America, right where it belongs. After years of rebuilding foreign countries, we are now rebuilding our country instead. And we continue to grow the industry of the future. We're training our workers for the jobs of the future. And we're now living by two simple rules. Buy American and hire American. Sounds good. And that's why my administration started the pledge to America's workers. Our partners have committed to provide nearly 8 million training and enhanced career opportunities to their American workforce. I'm proud to announce that Sempra Energy just signed the pledge and agreed to train 1,000 Americans to build our energy future. Thank you, Jeff, for that, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. Great. We want every American to know the dignity of work, the pride of a paycheck, and the satisfaction of a job well done. We do not believe in socialism, okay? Is that all right to say? I think that's okay. I think so. If we had socialism here, you'd have nothing standing. And if it was standing from previous generations, it would be falling down right now. When we have a soaring economy, millions of hardworking people can wake up every day excited to use their talents and provide their families, lift up their community, and strengthen our country. Here with us today are several tremendous workers who want to tell us what America's energy revolution means to them. Ronald Nunes lost his energy job over 20 years ago, back in 2015. A lot longer than 20 years ago. I mean, I don't know who to help with that. But he did lose it. They had the wrong number, but they had the right number of years. 20 years. Where's my speechwriter? Congratulations. Thank God I don't read it too often.
Peruvian copy for those who solved this one. The key was to make the connection between the year 2015 and $215 billion. Here is the solution. In 2018, American energy exports alone brought down our trade deficit by $215 billion. Ronald Nunez lost his energy job over 20 years ago, back in 2015. Notice the words, "Where's my speechwriter?" Correct year, 1999. 1999. 1999 equals 215. The key to the kingdom is 215. A bomb can't kill the soul equals 215. Q2044, they want the keys to the kingdom. Solution path. The correct year is 1999, which we can write in letters 1999. The value for this string is 215, same value as the key to the kingdom, which brings in Q2044. This post is about active clowns in the political arena posing as retired agents. They want the keys to the kingdom. Decoded message. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Matthew 24:37. The flood allowed the earth to be cleansed from the demonic entities that entered our dimension through genetic manipulations. They were expelled, and their souls were not allowed to come back until they discovered how to open our dimension again through transgenderism and its corollaries. Secret societies are leading the charge with the help of C_A elements. Now you are equipped to resolve one of the most challenging questions in the Q board. It's in Q3210. Q gives us text messages from McCabe. I'll first give you the appetizer where we discover which technical expertise Brennan and Clapper used to set up the hammer on Obama's instructions. Message from McCabe. By the way, Clapper told Pete that he, Clapper, was meeting with Brennan and Cohen for dinner tonight. Just FYSA. Conclusion. Jared Cohen, Eric Schmidt's protege and CFR creature that I talked about in the orange article, was the missing link between the hammer, Brennan Clapper, and tech expertise. We now know who brought the technology to Hussein to set up the system. And here's the main course. Sally Yates, bake your noodle. Message from McCabe. I tried sending an email to numbers, but it bounced back. Are you still getting emails? DAG inquired about our plan regarding FISA target if he mobilizes, given the physical access he has. Let me know if you got the email I forwarded from Tash. Q3211. Was RR planned to assume DAG at that point in time? Bake your noodle. Q. On November.
So what he's leading to here is that was Rod Rosenstein actually slated to be the AG? Was he slotted to be in that position already? Because they refer to he. And that's the whole point of this section. So we'll continue.
November 18th, 2016, McCabe refers to the DAG as HE, he, but at the time it was Sally Yates. Did he know RR was coming in, or was RR already active? Impossible. Sessions was nominated on November 2018 and had to take the time to pick RR. Q1318, why did Session pick RR? RR was nominated on February 1st, 2017, so McCabe assumes Sally Yates is a man. Next, we take a closer look at Sally Yates. Adam's apple. Neck surgery. Ready for the grand finale? Can you decode this tweet? From President Trump, it now seems that General Flynn was under investigation long before, was common knowledge. It would have been impossible for me to know this, but if that was the case, and with me being one of 2 people who would become president, why was I not told so that I could make a change? What if I told you the maestro coded Sally Yates in this tweet? The timestamp reads Q3335. There are 2 missing words in the tweet. It between before and the between of and to. This gives us it, the, and when rearranged, et, hit. You know what that means, right? Since E equals 5, T equals 20, and Y equals 25, ET equals Y, and ET hit can be written Y hit, which when connecting to Comey's you-know-what in Q3335 and dropping the doubles, you get YS, which are Sally Yates' initials. Now you know why the tweet is about General Flynn, who was specially targeted by Sally Yates, and why it reads, being one of 2 people, and I could make a change. Sally Yates made a change and is now 2 people. He has willingly become a bridge for dark creatures from extraterrestrial dimensions to advance the Antichrist agenda. He's riding the beast. McCabe knew. They all knew. Maybe it should just be the first meeting of the secret society, quoted Lisa Page. They had one at the White House, another one at the DOJ. Do you see the power of the symbol and where they were going? Q133, Vladimir Putin. The New World Order worships Satan. Q.
Well, there we go. That's how deep this rabbit hole goes. You know, the first time I heard that Michelle Obama was a man, I was in Laos at Swiss Indo. And I was told by Bakpak Suki that this was, that he was a man, and that when Obama had come to Indonesia, he met with him, and he was asking for access to certain accounts. And that's when he said, and also Michelle, when he told him no, then Michelle came back later, or Michael, and then he was like, he's a man. Said, really? I had no idea. But then looking into it, investigating, it's like, oh, okay, well, I can see why they're saying that. And but I guess if you meet someone in person, you have a much different impression, right? You can see the energy as opposed to the pictures, the imagery on the screens. That's just another form of an illusion, right? Because everything that they put up on the screen through the mainstream media is an illusion, and the more they make it an illusion, the more power they have. Right, to keep you basically under a spell, you know, of something that's you have no idea how to react to, because they're saying that's reality, and those are, you know, the assumed power in this world. So this is why this information, you know, is so layered. You don't need to know that, that Michelle is a man, or Sally Yates is a man, to know that the government is not acting properly. So when Trump is coming out and giving information, he's giving it to us on so many levels. That's why he's referring to him as the maestro, because the level of information that's being revealed here is nuanced and layered. These puzzles show that they actually work out because of the proofs that are given with each of the puzzles, right? Because it's done in two levels of which the proof is given to show that it is, you know, it relates to a Q post that is on topic. And not only on topic, but points to a more elaborate story. And sometimes there's 2 or 3 of these Q posts within this conversation that you pull out of the information. So that's why it's so in depth. So over many people's heads, they really can't see it. As I've said before in the past, when the Pilgrims were first coming to America, I love this story because it really just demonstrates what people are able to see. And the Pilgrims were off in the distance, and all the people on the shore couldn't see the ships. They were out looking at the ocean, but they couldn't see the ships. The wise man, the medicine man, the elder, is the one that had the vision to see things more clearly, more in depth, and was able to see and then point people to what's out there on the horizon to see, so that they could then focus on it and understand it. So what we're doing is we're pointing out to the ships on the horizon. And it's very deep. The aspect of knowing that the deep state, right? We used to call the cabal, right? But why call it the deep state and not call it the cabal? The cabal, the overreaching bloodline families, or who's behind that, to the banking sector that controls all the money of the world, which controls all the governments. That's hard enough for people to grasp and really think that it's there. But to think that it's just a rogue bureaucracy, the bureaucracy is overreaching. It doesn't want the people's will to be expressed. It's very believable. Those are the people standing on the shoreline. They can see that. We need to point out on the horizon and point out for the people and say, listen, there's something else. Look a little further out. See that shape? This is what it is. And translate that into a way that they can understand. So we have so many levels here that it's of understanding that we have to bring people along. And the more that they awaken to what actually has been happening, the better it is for us to build again. For the most part, 97% of the people in general are good. Two-thirds of the 97% will just kind of go along to get along. They want to do the good thing, but they'll take the easy route. What they perceive as the easy route. They'll go after the carrot that's dangling out in front of them and follow. But they would like to choose the right thing. Number one, when you're being presented a false reality, how do you know what is the right thing? How do you know? We need to really help those people understand so that they can make the right decision. So most people want the right thing to be done, but they don't know what it is because of the fantasy, the projection that's coming through the mainstream media, through the movies, through everything, through the Bible, the interpretations of the Bible, through the Quran, through the interpretations of the Quran. These realities that are placed out there have an agenda. You know, a lot of people just don't even believe in evil from the standpoint of saying that there are beings that are truly do these despicable things, right? They can't see that because that's not them. Even it's the 97%. You know, are the idea of evil as an embodiment of something that is the opposite of life, and that, you know, they can, in general, as a concept, accept that it exists, but they really don't believe that it would be orchestrated into a worldwide government that was set on enslaving the planet. Right? As soon as you go there, you lose the 90%, right? Because they can't see that far ahead. So what we have to do is really expand that. That's kind of why I'm going through Serial Brain 2, because it's about the deepest you're going to find on QAnon. There's others that are going over gematria and numbers and things like that. They're good, really. But this is well produced. It's laid out in a way that helps people make those steps, go further. So I see Tui has joined us. Hello, Tui. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the. It's a Stefan. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought it was Seraphim. I just
No.
Hey, Tank, how's it going?
Man, pretty good. Pretty excited.
Yeah, sorry we didn't get to
Like
talk
everything's-
much yesterday. You vanished.
Man, I was trying for an hour to get back on. I kept going places and trying to like tap back in. I'm like, what is going on today?
Well, at least you touched in, right? So we're still good for appearing every day.
That's what I said too. I'm like, nope, you're not gonna beat me. You're not gonna beat us. Like we're coming still. And it was such an exciting day yesterday. I thought,
Yeah. Well,
amazing things.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's so much is going on. Well, actually, do you want to give an update before you get knocked off?
I can not really. What I can say is that I can't. You know what? It's all amazing news, and everything is great, and everything is coming together, and and that's really all I can say. I will tell you that Kim has been very much behind the scenes and not letting things out publicly or coming on publicly because there's so much perversion taking place of everything being said. They're using everything as an attack, and because there's just massive, ignorance about a lot of things that that's why she's been behind the scenes. And I would say in the very, very, very near moments, that's going to change.
Okay. Near moments. I like that. Good moments to everybody.
Good moments to you. Yes.
Well, that's okay. That's a great update. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, I do not know what you covered today. Oh, did you have a
No. I just you and me today, man. Which is good. There's a lot of great stuff to recap this week. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Were you listening to what I was going over?
No, I just got on. I was in the midst of a really incredible energy clearing with Faye, so I didn't get a chance to hear.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a really quick update. It was about Serial Brain 2, the part 2 of this latest one, and I started off before getting into it. I went and pointed everyone to look at pyramids and to understand that the shape of a pyramid and the shape of things matters. It actually, it's how energy is transferred and moves through things by the shape in which they exist and vibrate in this reality. So before I launched into Serial Brain Tool, I want to put that out into the idea so that we have an understanding that the shape matters. And where Serial Brain 2 took us was really about the transgender agenda of the cabal,
All right.
right? And how Sally Yates is a man. So there was Michelle Obama and Sally Yates, both in those positions in power inside, the government system, and that this is and how that, and he also talked about Queen Victoria, Victoria's secret. The secret of Victoria is that she was a man, Queen Victoria.
Wow.
I never knew that. That was I had never heard that. I kind of maybe remember something like that off the wall kind of thing. It's like I said, I just like the, so I don't know if I actually heard that. I have a slight remembrance of saying something about Queen Victoria, but it didn't really strike me until he put that in perspective. And so to lay this all out, it's about how the cabal needs to transform the shape of the individual to change the energy and allow for it to be a demonic gateway. And that's why I brought up the shape of things with pyramids. And also, when you just got on, I was kind of outlining how the Serial Brain 2 is deep, deep down in the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
And even what I was talking about is even another level of that's hard for people to grasp. And that when I gave the example of when the Pilgrims first came to the Americas, the people on the shoreline, the indigenous people, just couldn't see them, even though they're approaching. It was the wise men that were able to actually see out on the horizon and saw something that the others just could not see. And the wise men were the ones that pointed out there and said, hey, look at this shape, see what's happening. And it brought them up, red pilled them, right? So in essence, we're red pilling people to see very deep. And so when we talk about the cabal, it loses people. But if we call it the deep state as a rogue bureaucracy that is taking away the rights of the people because they don't want to abide by the election results, people can grasp that, right? It's easy for the 97% of the people out there to see, right? But to bring them to the level of the 13 bloodline families and the banking industry being in control, or even beyond that, you have to red pill them slowly to get them there. Anyway, so that's a recap.
Well, that is amazing because that's very much in line with what I have on my mind. So
Okay.
I can probably give people, not probably, I can definitely give people some insight into that. This is really fascinating for anybody who didn't listen to last night with Tui. Really, I don't know if the audio is the best quality. I am going to go back in very deep. I'm going to have it transcribed, number one. And number two, I'm going to go in and recap it myself. But I also had some revelations on this as well.
When I redid when I grabbed it and put it into video for the YouTube, I bumped up the audio on it, so it is.
Good. Great, cool. So I'll use that so I can go back through it. Maybe I'll just pull that actually. But there's Tui talked about the Za-Ra agreement, right? And he said now the Za-Ra agreement in reality right now is the male aspect, or the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect, agreeing to be separated, right? And be subject to
Now,
creation.
the biggest news of the week,
Nope.
Senator Lindsey Graham diving into Water's World for the very first.
Oh. I don't know what happened there.
All right. So the Zara agreement is the agreement that the masculine energy and the feminine energy of really source or mana energy, right? To be separated from each other. Now, the sacred texts, right, will talk about these things, and there's different versions of this. Now, when we talk about the Garden of Eden, there's many different stories that people could hang on to. And what I would say is don't hang on to any one of them as being the whole story. But if you just look at the principle of, well, in this garden, if you look at I think it's a Syrian text, it actually describes it as, well, even in the Bible, it talks about Elohim, which is a pluralistic term meaning gods, right? And so if you have these gods,
Your audio dropped.
How about now?
Not
No. This might interesting.
You're better now.
Okay, so if you look at the principle of the Garden of Eden being a place of Eden for the gods, right, where humans were slaves, and then you have a principle of Adam being likened unto one of the gods, manifesting from this spiritual or higher frequency and condensing himself into a physical energy, right? Like it says he, was created from the dust of the earth, and then it said he breathed in the breath of life. In other words, he took a breath. Now he blew in the breath of life, the way it says, right? So if you look at that as, let's say, for this example, let's say Enki, right? And then Enki took a portion of his own divine spark, right? The aspects of himself that are not associated with history and expectations and logic, but the parts of him that are associated with love and in creation, the things about himself that he loved, right? And use those aspects. That would be the rib and the womb, not the head, but the rib and the womb, just principally speaking, to create the woman, right? And then separated, and then that's why you have men and women spend a whole lifetime trying to come back together. And what what the scriptures say that the marriage is not a piece of paper or a contract. It's these two becoming one flesh, right? And that connection now, and so he said, now in that, and then returning back to that connection with one another, it allows us to remember that the manna is in all of us, and that is our ability to manifest creation out of nothing. And for us to realize that the space that we're in, I love the way he described it. He said it's like a room that we put ourselves in, and then we forgot that we're the ones that created the room. So then we feel trapped in the room, but in reality, we can walk out of the room at any time, and remembering that and reconnecting to that energy allows us to transcend and make a world the way we want to, being reunited with that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he just mentioned it casually. He talked about the Zara. He didn't mention this on the. Well, he might have mentioned it briefly, but he's mentioned before. He goes, well, really, it was the Zara-El agreement, right? Because the kingdom of Manna, they said they claimed the power of the Elohim, right? Now, the Elohim, in my understanding, we'll say, right, and I know there's lots of people that could, so just you have to appreciate that the Elohim will be likened to like the archangels, right? And they were there, and they are obedient and protective in this expression of source as guardians, right? And in this Elohim, right? Now that's the same thing. That's the very title that this guy was given, Michael Uriel, right? With who was really whatever his name was, right? Or is who is anointed as His Majesty right there for the kingdom of Manna. But the principle and the prophecy that's mentioned is that when the fifth element and the warrior emerge together at the same time, right, then that restores the planet back to natural order, right? That's how, basically the way the prophecy goes, right? Now, so the Elohim would be like this archangel, right? Now, the Garden of Eden was guarded by one of the Elohim, or the one of these archangels. So when Adam, who would be, and what I'm explaining it is, would be likened unto Enki, when he sorry,
Was that?
it's so loud here. So when, but they would be loyal to Enki, right? They would have been, so if they would have seen his face, they would have known whatever you say is what's going to happen. So to be able to come down and manifest this whole experience, right? So he had to limit his own.
You're cutting out. Hello, Tank. Come in, Tank. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he knows that he's not uh, coming through. Well, I'm calling. I don't think he knows he's on or not. So I'm going to eject him from it, so he might catch that he's not on. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if he's able to reconnect. This is we'll have to work with some other ways to bypass these problems, one at a time. Maybe we'll figure it out. Well, I encourage everyone to go and check out the other videos that I'm uploading that are from Tank's conversations with the individuals on the projects. And he's doing those 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And he started them basically, an hour into basically the hour before I start, he's already on the broadcast there. He's doing on the Blog Talk Radio. And then after he completes that, about an hour into it, then he usually joins in here. But of course, now we've been having these issues of connection. So, well, it's all part of our effort to break through, get the information out, and we're having some major impact, and we're doing well at it. So I think that although we can't get any details about what's happening with the trust and funding the projects, we can feel that it's very close. So we just keep it going. Now, so let's say, okay, I think we've kind of covered this topic well enough. We can kind of move on to a slightly different project, Hammer. So I want to point out that Dr. Dave Janda has, he was referring to an article that was posted on a website, and this article was a new update to Project Hammer, the ones that initially leaked the information Dr. Dave Janda reported 2.5 years ago on Project Hammer. The website that that they have put up has been taken down several times. I was able to capture the website, and I was preparing to do a video on it today, but then I got onto a couple other little tasks that I had to get done, and but I'm set to do a video on that one, and this is really updating us on where things exist today with the investigations. And we can see that this information is going to be coming out to the public on this Project Hammer and how it was designed by a genius to spy on our adversaries around the world. Let's not call them enemies, but adversaries. And how Obama and Clapper and Brennan turned it on against the American people. And in particular, and the term zillions of times, which is a huge number, right? It's a fake number that means a lot, turned it against Trump 4 years before he ran for office. They were afraid of him. They were digging since then. And if they haven't gotten all this information secretively from Trump, how are they going to come up with anything now? So, and we even see that they're dropping like flies. Nadler, fainted in a I guess a press conference they were holding, and they even had people in white lab coats come out. I don't know any event where they have people standing around from the medical side, standing around in white lab coats. Was that real, or was this his way out? Was it Nadler's exit plan? Exit stage left, too hot in the kitchen. I got to get out of here. Goes into a stupor, like he's having to have an exit plan. So everything is shifting right now. The energy on as Barr now has been given the power to reveal or declassify any of things related to this, and all the department heads and all the agencies have been ordered to work with Barr on anything he wants to declassify. Now that's not normal. Even though he has access to this information, he has not been able to declassify it. But now he is able to declassify anything regarding this. This is going to now streamline the way information comes out. And it's going to be a constant drumbeat or explosions, however you want to refer to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I would even go ahead and do it now, but I have it set up on another computer. And so since that website doesn't come up anymore, I have it recorded on another page. So let's see if that was Tank's been making any messages. No, nothing.
I'm here, Dan.
Oh, that's I heard that little ding come in.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry.
It's all right. Hey, how's it going? It's always good to see the Galactic Unicorn.
Yeah, I'm coming at it from different angles. I got like 9 different Gmail accounts. I'm just gonna keep on coming in. I mean, they're obviously targeting everything I do. So,
I think we need to really shift this around to Zoom because we will eliminate these problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll figure that piece out on how to make that happen. And then, because I know I've never had issues with Zoom when doing anything like this. So anyway, we'll give it a shot. But anyway, so where do we leave off?
It's funny. I finished everything I had to say, and then realized nobody was there. so I don't know what the last thing is you got heard. But long story short is that right now in restoring the masculine and feminine energies, right, and in that process, so to speak, you're really restoring our innate ability, desire, and authority to create. Right, we're an expression of this um, divine energy, and we are, we have every right to do that.
Yeah, well, you're discussing how Inky, had taken the best of him, right,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and put that into creating humanity in this storyline, right? And
Right.
but then when he took Adam's rib to create Eve, because Lilith didn't work out.
Lilith. Well, he takes. So okay. So all of your ribs, right? They all connect back, right? And they form around. I mean, all your ribs come back to your sternum, which really protects your heart, right?
Mhm.
So it's a principle, right, with the rib, and the womb is symbolic of reproducing new life, right? So
Right.
that's where you get woman. So you have the rib and the womb, but you don't have Eve with the, with the any knowledge of the head. In other words, where she came from or her background. It's just a symbol, right? So
Mm.
that's why she goes to the tree of, of good and evil, and the tree of knowledge, right? Which is really just a symbolic of a Joshua tree being connected, and both of these things being together, like to be able to integrate both of these aspects of yourself. And Eve ultimately is symbolic of the heart, right? Of that's why a woman is naturally, if you just look at a woman's body in her natural shape, she's two hearts on top of each other, right? Her natural, just the natural shape of a woman, the hourglass figure, is two hearts. And so it's a powerful symbol, if nothing else, right? And what they're trying to do is destroy that aspect, right? They're trying to make men more feminine. They're trying to get us to, they're trying to shame us for being alpha males. They're trying
Right.
to make us feel ashamed because, we're cursed with being, like being a certain kind of way, right? They're trying to make intimacy something that is dirty and evil, right? That's why they're teaching children that pedophilia is completely normal, right? Because at some point it's like they would just have to make sex illegal because they want to control everything, right? Because they don't want us to reproduce. Now
Right.
in that process, the BPA that's in the plastic, right, actually specifically targets, and creates, kind of like chemically castrates us, right? That's
Mhm.
that's one of the things they're doing in the vaccines themselves. There's actually, I read it the other day on air. There's two elements. One increases the X chromosome in the no, I'm sorry, it adds additional Y chromosome to the woman and additional X chromosome to the man. So that's why you have this gender dysphoria that's taking place in the teenage years when they have all these hormones that are so active and they're not sure what to do. And then they're encouraging them, right? They're starting to give hormone blockers and all types of additional hormones as well to kids as young as 10 years old because they think they're a man or a woman, but they're a
Right.
kid. They don't know what they are. Like they're just a kid. Like my 6-year-old daughter takes her shirt off. Like we're not like, oh my gosh, you're showing. Like, she's 6. Like it
Right.
doesn't matter. You know, like, but
Muted. Dang. Maybe you got a phone call. Muting sometimes says that there's a phone call. Not always. Mm-hmm. I'll try the phone call again. Okay. Well, yeah, it really looks like we're gonna have to switch things around here a little bit, bypass some of these problems. That's all right. I'll eject him from the call, so that way he's not. It'll at least show up that he's not continuing to talk. Like he did last time. That's kind of the problem too, right? But yeah, this confusion that they're breeding is to create people to take a path. And as I said, I don't doubt that there are a very small, tiny fraction of a percent of people that are born that way. Right. The ultimate expression of that would actually be born with both sets of genitalia. So we know that this does happen, and to what degree past that does it mean that you were born that way? Without getting into that, but to create a situation in the world where everything is confusing, it doesn't help the world in any way, right? It just is making things confusing. There are two sexes, male and female, and then aberrations, things that are not normal. And that sometimes is being used to say, if you say that that's not normal, that's saying something is bad. So that's not the conversation to have, because it doesn't mean that the person that is the man or the woman that is choosing the other is bad, right? It's more that it's creating a system which is causing confusion to make a choice to start doing something down the opposite path that, as what the physical genitalia says, is also a learned behavior and a habit. There is research about this that is forbidden because it goes against the agenda. So there's part of the brain that allows for these habits to be for your survival that is being co-opted. So one way to look at it is in the prison populations where it's an all men or all women prison, and there is this forced position upon certain individuals to where they must adapt to survive, is an example of that. So this is it's again, it's not about having the individual that has chosen the path to go to, that they are evil, right? That they're doing the opposite, but it does present an energy shift that is evil in itself, and what they're trying to do is to prevent procreation, to stop what the plan has been, the agreed to plan. What we've agreed to be is this. So to change that is the plan, to go against what God's plan, or we could say in this arena, because we're talking about that acceptance of this plan to be split male and female. That plan, to go against that, is the agenda. So that's why it's a bit confusing when everything that's being presented to you as being acceptable, you can go and do that. But the thing is that you have a learned behavior once you take those steps to go in that direction, right? And the confusion never ceases. The confusion keeps coming up in different ways in the environment around people to enforce that. So the path creates a different energy, a different shape. So, especially to when you start mutilating the genitalia. So that's changing the shape, right? Changing the energy, changing how things were set up. As Tui had said, is when there are those that were born with both genders in one is a blessing, right? Look at it as a blessing. I can understand that point of view. Right? But again, we're talking about an agenda that ends in the elimination of humankind. The ultimate end, at the end of the road, is there is no more humans. So this is why it's a death wish. It's a death cult. It's a death agenda. And literally the removal of the aspect of breeding. Oh, of course, you can move into a cybernetic, being and become an android. Ultimate goal, removal of all organics. And will it operate and move throughout the world? Sure, it will. Will it have a soul? No, it won't. Because its energy is contained, as a container is different. Doesn't contain an organic soul. And it cannot ascend past the mathematics of this universe. Because it's contained within this universe where our consciousness, our organic consciousness is outside of this universe. We're not contained. And we can elevate it and have a different perspective and elevation of understanding. To ascend. So we all right. Well, we've been having a very interesting day. There's a lot going on. I think we've kind of wrapped it up for today. Did I send the link to Tui? In case Tui is there, I don't know if I sent Tui the link. So let me go ahead and I'll look for Tui. I'll send Tui to see if he wants to come on, and otherwise we'll start wrapping it up. No, I did not send the link to Tui. Or nor did I post it in the Where We Go When We Go All.love Telegram group, and I'll post it there too. We can have a conversation about any of these topics that we're on today, or new topics. That's also okay. So if anyone is wants to jump on, please do. We'll keep this going for a little bit. There's great beauty, and we are amazing in humanity. There is so much good in us, and we act in very wonderful ways, and we create such beauty in art and music, engineering, and that's being distorted by an evil energy, by an agenda that is to wipe us out. Now, whatever the ultimate, whoever's behind it, however deep the rabbit hole goes, none of that matters from the standpoint of recognizing that we are in our natural being good and wonderful. And we can go forth and multiply, and not just on this planet, but to go on and out into the galaxy, throughout the solar system, to the next solar system, throughout the galaxy, and then galaxy to galaxy. There is no shortage at all of resources. There's a whole universe filled, galaxy upon galaxy. We start talking about scarcity. This is part of our problem. We believe what we're being told by this talking box that says there's not enough. There's plenty of energy. Energy should be cheap. Everything should be getting cheaper, not more expensive. Only if it's controlled to make more people rich because of the powers that they control. Does it make any sense that things get more and more expensive? Things are supposed to get less and less expensive. I give you the model. The first, big screen TV, LCD displays, right? The flat panel screens. $10,000 went down to $5,000, went down to $1,000, went down to $500, went down to $300. Just to get better quality, and those enter the market up at not $10,000. Normally they're coming in at $3,000, and they quickly roll down to where they're into the $500 range. They get less expensive until something new and better comes. The curved screen. Why is energy going up? I tell you that nuclear energy is there's a big lie behind it, and that has to do with the radiation. Some of the original people that worked in the first nuclear plants and everything used to handle the stuff by hand. They're still alive. They didn't get besieged by cancer and everything. And they used to, manipulate the stuff, and not have any major problems with it. And it's come out, and we're telling people at the time that why are you putting all these procedures for radiation and stuff like this when this is going to do a lot of unnecessary expense. If you research this, you'll find out that that this idea of the nuclear radiation and the half-life and 150,000 years and so on, and then so it makes the area unlivable for all this amount of time. Is there a lot of destruction? Yes. Can it be very bad? Yes, very bad. But they've they made it overly how do you say this? Overwhelmingly against using nuclear energy because of these scare tactics. I'll point at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Horrific bombs blew up. Nuclear weapons exploded and destroyed those cities. Should there ever in anybody's lifetime, generation upon generation upon generation, ever hope to go back to those places and build again? No, you can't. But both are thriving cities now. So the idea of the expense of energy going more expensive and more expensive and more expensive means that you can't afford it. What happens, that you to the point where you can't even run one light bulb in the day because it's so expensive to run electricity, or the environment will collapse. To take away your ability to see at night. to take anything away from us that has been a part of our reality growing up. You know, look, the cost of electricity should be continually dropping per kilowatt, not increasing. So not only is the model of free energy that's out there kept away, but the model of how we create energy now in the existing hydrocarbon, method is one looked at as the way, the enemy that we have to stop because it's going to destroy the whole planet. Everything is about destruction, right? Everything is about, it's the end. It's about everyone believing it's the end until we just all wipe ourselves out by agreement. What a most ridiculous system to be believing in this. To believe these people that continually lie to us and get you to do stupid things. I think that'll cover it for today. No one else decided to join in, but that's okay. We'll be back tomorrow. And good moments to everyone. And please subscribe and share. Put it in those thumbs up because they help. Make positive comments. Copy and paste the link into your social media. You can use the share feature if you must. But that puts you into a shadow banning algorithm. You want to bypass that copy and paste. But do that, and even if you've done it before, it helps move this information out there. I appreciate everything that everyone's done. I appreciate everyone who's joined me in the Kringle Society, Abundance Mind. I'm working towards on the Abundance Mind project again to, now that the excitement is back in Bitcoin because it's skyrocketing, right? So let me get in and do some mining. Working with that and some other projects. So anyway, I look forward to tomorrow. We'll see you. Have a good day.